So there is one school of thought that says Jesus' hands was nailed to the cross. And then there's another school of thought that says Jesus' wrist was actually nailed to the cross. But which one is more accurate biblically and historically? Let's take a walk.
When they ask me how I did it, I say God taught me. When they ask me how I'm winning, I say God taught me. When they ask me why I'm different, I say God taught me. This my time to get it. God taught.
In order for us to get down to the bottom of this, of whether the nails were driven through Jesus' hands or his wrists, we have to ask ourselves the Sunday school question: did Jesus die on a cross? Or did he die on a stake? Or did he die on a pole? Believe it or not, there's a group of scientists out there that say Jesus could not have died on a cross, simply because if the nails were driven through his hands, then his hands would not have been a sufficient enough support for his body weight. There is also historical evidence that sometimes a cross would have somewhat of a seat to help support the weight of the crucified victim. Even today, historically, scholars are still uncertain about the actual specific nail placement of whether it was through the hands or through the wrists. But when you go over to St. John chapter 20, verses 25 through 27, the Bible tells us that Jesus showed them the wound in his hand. Now, mind you, there is no Greek word for the word wrist in the New Testament, even though some versions translate Acts 12:7 to say that the chains fell off of Peter's wrist. But even if you look up that Greek word for wrist, it is the same Greek word for hand that is used in John chapter 20, verses 25 through 27. So this right here is the Greek word for hand.
Strong's G 5495. Chayer. Chayer.
And as you can see, this Greek word for hand is constantly translated hand, hand, hand. Matthew 8:3, Matthew 8:15, Mark 12:13. It's constantly translated hand. Now, it is possible that the nail could have been angled in a way that it could have went through the hand and through the wrist at the same time, nailing Christ to the cross. We know that from historical crucifix experiments that the hand and the wrist, watch this, both were used to nail its victims to the cross. The conclusion of the matter is this: the wounds of Christ that he bore in his body holds great significance and value for all those that have believed and will believe. So therefore, the placement of the nails, to be honest, is a minor issue. One thing that we do know is that during his time being on the cross, at least 5 wounds was inflicted upon him in both of his hands, both of his feet, and in his side. That being said, we do know for certain that all those that will place their faith in Christ will be healed, 1 Peter 2:24, by the stripes and the wounds that he bore in his body. You all be blessed.
And I hear the Lord say, surrender.